for the last time, we are two B's from Lil D. Joe, how do you feel about that?
Morg, it's super weird to say it, but it's time for these butterflies to exit the cocoon.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. It feels a little cliche, but
as we said last week, we are going through a rebrand, and that feels more professional than what we are doing, which is renaming our podcast.
But, feels more classy too.
Yeah, I like it. Oh my God. I'm very busy right now. I'm going through a rebrand. Okay. If this is your first time joining us, this might be a confusing episode because we are mid-transition. And this is our final episode as our previously named podcast, Two B's from Lil D. And we are transitioning to, can I get a drum roll, Joe? We are the Double Loser Podcast. And so we wanted to really decouple what we were talking about on these episodes from the title of our podcast. I think we kind of wedged ourselves in a hole with Two B's from Lil D because, like we said last time, we have finite numbers of stories we can tell you about our hometown because Joe and I just aren't an endless pot of information about growing up together. So, gosh, stop being so needy.
I mean, and our memories. Like, I feel like, though, sometimes these stories just come to us, but I apparently my memories are not as strong as I thought they were.
We're aging, okay? So we have gone with Double Loser Podcast, and really our shows are going to be a lot more seasonal. We've had a whole year of Two B's from Lil D, all 54 episodes if you include this one. You can go back and listen to them at any time. They're a barrel of laughs, if I do say so myself. But it's time to move forward, Joe. And with that, we have kind of a new concept where we are going to be watching reality TV shows. And they're normally going to be old reality TV shows, though. And we're going to pick them up, rewatch them, talk about them like we love to do. And by that, I mean talk a lot of crap and have you along for the ride. So
yeah,
what is our first show we're going to watch, Joe?
So we are going to watch The Hills. And we thought this would be a good way to start this off because they're actually getting ready to restart the series, Morg. What do we call that? Kick it off anew?
A sequel?
A sequel. Yes, there we go. Thank you.
But we're not watching the new one, y'all. We're going back in time. We're trying to relive our past, which, I mean, like we said, we're still here. We're not going anywhere. And just like Two B's from Lil D, we want to walk down memory lane with y'all, but just more focused.
And I feel like the song Unwritten right now really feels applicable to us, like staring at the blank page before us.
Wow, Joe, what a great song too. Yeah, we have so much more to write, y'all. We're not leaving you.
Yes, more obnoxious metaphors.
Yeah, don't think you've escaped all of our hypothesizing about what we would do if we were in situations. That's still coming.
Yes. So Morg, I will say I'm excited about this one though because the episodes are fairly short.
Yeah, easy peasy. We will be watching and aligning our episodes of the podcast with the episodes of the seasons what we're watching so you can follow along a lot more easily. That was a point of feedback from y'all. Y'all apparently want to know what we're going to talk about before we're going to talk about it. And
you guys didn't like the mystery flavor that was every week?
I have to tell you right now that it is Wednesday and we are dropping this episode on Friday. So we need you to know how close to, making it we do every week.
But we pull it off. I feel like we brag on ourselves a lot on this one. And I'm not going to stop. We pull it off every week. Watch. I say that. And this is going to be the first week we don't.
We really do, though. So we love making these episodes for you, and we're excited about this rebrand. So if you'll take a moment of silence and say goodbye to the Two B's from Lil D podcast with us.
Yes. Maybe turn on the Natasha Bedingfield for a second and pause.
Look out that dirty window.
Release your inhibitions.
And now with us, say a big hello to the Double Loser Podcast. I don't know what song represents that, Joe. Which song should we mumble for it?
I mean, when I think of it, I automatically go to Smash Mouth, Morg, when she's looking at him with her finger in the shape of an L on her forehead.
With the shape of an L on her forehead.
I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Wow, that's really good. Yeah. That was our big announcement. Thank you for waiting with us and for rejoining us to hear it. And I hope that this change is great for y'all because we love our listeners and really want to just keep y'all along with us as we continue to talk crap about reality TV in a more structured way.
Yeah, and definitely. So we're starting with The Hills, but feel free to give us some feedback. Is there any reality show that you want us to watch? Because we're definitely looking.
Oh, for sure. And bonus points if it's actually free on a streaming service that people already have. Because Amazon really likes to show you a show and then be like, $19.99, loser.
Yes, I have a bone to pick with all these streaming services. It's like, you guys are tricking me when it's like, I think you're going to let me watch this show. And it's like, LOL. You can only purchase season 3 for $40 and no other season.
Exactly. So lucky for us, though, The Hills is available and we have our homework to do.
Yes, on Hulu if you want to watch along with us.
Yes, so catch up and join us next week for our first episode analysis. But this week, Joe, we spent our time for the last time kind of doing our ad hoc show, which we're going to do over Billie Eilish's documentary that's on Apple TV. And that's the focus of this episode.
Yes. So more to kick it off, just first thoughts. What did you think after finishing it?
First thoughts. I really think it's hard to remember how young she is because dang, this girl's successful and she's very young.
No, I had the same thought. It was like kind of crazy to see her going through these very normal 17-year-old things. And then like, you don't see that when it's like she's on the cover of a magazine or like in her music videos. It's like she just seems so much more older because she is so successful.
Yes, and I think you just normally assume that someone who has this kind of exposure has to be of a certain age. And so it was really interesting watching the podcast and seeing her kind of like whine and like be bratty because she's a teenager. And it was like these kind of weird moments where you're like, oh, you're like worth multi-millions of dollars and you're like having a fit about writing a song. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that kind of makes me think of like a moment that really stood out to me. And it's kind of like for the exact same reasons you just said, was watching her like head to toe Louis Vuitton on a motorized scooter, motoring around a tennis court, and she's trying to get a hold of her boyfriend and he's like not answering and she's getting really like annoyed. And it was like, this is the weirdest like juxtaposition right here of like this girl who's like super decked out, like super famous, and yet she can't like pin down her man.
I feel like her outfits a lot of times were kind of a juxtaposition just because of how like nice they are or like branded they are, like Gucci and like you said, worth a lot of money. I don't even know how much, but I know a lot of money. And then like she still lives in the family home that she grew up in, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. I mean, that was crazy, Morg, to think that they created all of these songs. And then it was like, there was a scene where it seemed like they had over these executives and they're all just sitting on like the brother's bed. Like, sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I could not deal yes. So for those of you who don't know, Billie's brother, Phineas, he writes a lot of her music and has helped her produce a lot of her music. And they did a number of her songs just in their childhood bedrooms back home. And there's this scene in the documentary where, like you said, there's like music executives and they're like sitting on a trundle bed in this bedroom.
One of them's like lying down too.
I just was like, if I ever went into like someone's, like if I was like, I don't know, I was just trying to imagine like being a media producer and being like, oh yeah, come over to our house, we'll show you some new songs we're going to drop on this album. Like, no, I would never sit on the trundle bed.
I don't know, man, Morg. If she's producing that much for me, I think you have to sit on the trundle bed.
Okay, yes.
I'm sure that they're not happy about it, but they're going to do it and they're going to pretend they are because she's probably making them a lot of money.
That's true. I feel like I'm saying this all in the context of them being like the first time I've met them, not like already making me a ton of money. I'd be like, okay, oh, gotcha. Hell no. I'm not sitting on this trundle bed. You're going to murder me here. You don't write music at all, do you?
How many people you lured in here, huh?
Honestly, Joe, just like overall as a person though, I really wound up liking her. And I don't really know that much about her personally prior to what she'd showed on this documentary, but I feel like it made me like realize that her parents raised like a very unique person that I thought was very cool.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. And I feel like I learned a lot about her. Like beforehand, I really just didn't know that much about her. So, I mean, it was really interesting to see that she is very much like unapologetically who she is, which is refreshing. But at the same time, you could see she was kind of self-conscious, which surprised me because, I mean, she just doesn't seem like she would be at all. I mean, she's just so, she's not your like stereotype. She's not like your norm, she's very much like unique. So it kind of surprised me to see her being, I mean, and it was maybe not that she was self-conscious in like the conventional ways about like her looks or anything like that. But I mean, it did surprise me to see her thinking like, I'm horrible. People hate me, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was like, she's very confident in things that are pretty weird. Like she just will like say things or do things, or like she had so much confidence. To me, I was watching like a 16-year-old tell like 40-year-old guys producing her music video what to do. Like, I would never.
Yes.
I would not. I'd be like,
be like, right? Like instead she's like, no, hold it right there. Zoom it.
Drink black liquid out of this glass. Like I would never have the confidence to say the weird thoughts in my head that I want my music video to be.
Feel like, no, we'll just do the normal stuff. We'll just do whatever you want to do.
And she's very confident in that regard. But like you said, in other places, she's just like, I didn't do it good enough. I wasn't like what they wanted. That wasn't cool enough, or, whatever, after some of her shows or performances.
More kind of back on what you were just saying about the like very unique person, and her parents like raised a very unique person. I feel like, so I didn't realize this. I don't know if you did, but she was homeschooled. Like I had no idea.
I guess I didn't know that at all, but I don't know if this is rude to say, but I think it made sense. Like the confidence in kind of being your very authentic self. It made a lot of sense.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too, is because that's what, to me, it was like kind of the perfect combination. I mean, it was like she didn't have the other kids in school like putting her down maybe to kind of like, I mean, because I'm sure that's where
they're
we
like,
get our
get
stuff.
In line. You're freaking weird.
Black goo out of your eyes, you weirdo. Are you a vampire? Like, I mean, I feel like good for her for not having that shutdown. Like, I think this is the first time in my life where I've thought like maybe there's some positives to homeschooling because, well, and I will also say it seems like California homeschooling or like Billie Eilish's homeschooling is super different from the homeschooling we see here in Texas. Like, and I'm assuming it's kind of that like more of a liberal state versus a, very conservative state. Whereas I think a lot of people here, the reason they homeschool their kids is because they don't believe in science.
Yeah. Or like some religious aspects that they want to make forefront, and kind of.
Yeah. So I feel like here we just get kind of a weird breed of like homeschooled person where it's like, they're just weird and they're like, I will never kiss a person until I'm married.
I will never even look in the direction of the opposite sex.
I was put on this earth to serve my future husband. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're 13? Like,
but yes, I do like the term weird breed of homeschooled.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it never like occurred to me what maybe a more liberal homeschooled kid would be like, but I think we just saw it in Billie Eilish.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And I am curious your thoughts because we've been watching a lot of, I feel like, documentaries lately, Brittany, Demi, and I felt personally that this one was like the most authentic that I watched. I feel like everyone else's was way more produced. Like this one was way more to me like mom and dad's camera phone, sometimes like recording crap. And, I felt for sure like Demi's was like, as much as maybe she wanted it to seem like she was telling everything, it was like still very produced.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt the same way.
No, I agree with you. And I almost wonder if that kind of comes with experience in the industry, you know, because you said Britney, and I feel like that one the same, you know? So, I mean, I wonder if it's, since she's still so young and her family's maybe like relatively new to this level of stardom, that they were maybe more open to having all of it shown or whatever. I mean, but at the same time, there wasn't, I mean, and which again, I don't know, because I was like, you know, she's so young. It didn't seem like there was anything bad that needed to be hidden. But I mean, I guess you're right. It's like they showed like kind of the ups and downs of her relationship, and kind of like, you know, when she was kind of throwing fits and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think there was a point in the documentary where her mom and her were talking about how she wanted to maybe publicly say something about her stance on drugs. And then there was like her publicist saying, you know, you really shouldn't, because once you say that, and if you do then take drugs, like then you had this public statement. And I don't know, that was surprising to me because I'd never thought of this aspect. And I feel like you said, people who've been in the industry longer, of course, don't really show their publicists telling them what to say and not say. And so that was like an interesting perspective, because I don't know, it just like annoyed me that that was even a discussion to be had. I don't know how, like my reaction was like, she's 16 years old. She can say whatever the heck she wants, and then she can change it later if she needs to change it later. Like, I don't even understand. Like, they think they own this person. It bothered me.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you do kind of get a glimpse of that. Like, I feel like that's happened with like, I mean, not this exact situation, but yeah, like again, Demi Lovato or Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus, where it's like there are these kind of these cookie cutter images when they're teens, and then something happens and then everyone turns against them. So, I mean, I saw the publicist side of it. Like, I mean, I agree with you that she should be able to do whatever she wants. She's 16. And it made me really like the mom. And it also made me again see that the parents really have like fostered this, like, be who you are. When, you know, what does the mom say? She's like, she should be her authentic self in this moment. I was like, yes, like, Mom, I need to tell myself that on a daily basis. Like,
I am me
today
right
I'm
now.
going to be my authentic self, which maybe tomorrow's different, but who cares?
Exactly. I was fighting for her. But no, I actually wrote down, to your point, it did make me think of times when, like you've said, people got like raked across the coals after they changed their mind. Like, I think of Bieber and Selena and how they were like, no sex before marriage. And I mean, I don't really care about their sex life, but I just feel like it became like this fixation, just like Britney and Justin Timberlake. Like, but in my mind, I'm just like, I literally do not care if you change your mind after you take a stance on something. So, yeah.
But more, I mean, you know, I don't know if we represent like a large population but I mean, we think about those crazy fans that we've commented on before, and it's like,
okay, you're right. They can't be trusted.
There's people out there who are really, really passionate about that. And it's like, I don't understand why. I don't know. It just annoys me because it's like you're so perfect. Like, I don't know. It drives me nuts because it's it's like we can't allow for people to make a mistake. And it's like you've never made a mistake.
Well, yeah, it's okay. This is like my psychological theory about these people. I mean, and this is harsh, so buckle up.
Ooh, here we go.
They aren't, you know, confident enough in their own decisions or personal life to stick to what they think is right. So they put the pressure on these gods that they've made celebrities into. And then when they don't fulfill that pressure, because they're human too, then they lose it. And it's easy to lose it on this, like, almost like entity that you don't even know. Like, none of us really know Billie Eilish or any of these celebrities. So yeah, that's my theory on that.
Yeah. I mean, and I totally agree with you. It's almost like it's like they idolize them, you know, it's like they expect them to be perfect because they're not. But I mean, and it was kind of weird seeing, you know, she's reading her Instagram and she gets some hate mail, and it was just like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's like every time I forget that people do that because, like, I don't care about any celebrity enough to then go write them a message that's like,
you really messed up.
Yeah, like, you suck. My cousin, brother, sister just told me you're the worst. Like, who's got time for that?
Yeah, I already like got enough flack with my coworkers. I don't need this.
Yeah, like, right? Like, I've got so many other things right now I got to pay attention to.
How am I going to go watch a celebrity's life and then be like, you know what? I remember in 1995 when they said they wouldn't do that.
You know what? I'm gonna remind them that they said they weren't going to do that and that they did it, and it upsets me.
Like, how horrible would that be if, like, every time you changed your mind, somebody was, like, in your DMs to tell you that you done messed up?
Hey, remember me? You suck.
I guess that's, like, what your conscience is supposed to be, but
My conscience does, like, just a mighty fine job, just as I'm sure everyone else is. Like, I don't need any additional people showing up and acting as it. Like, I will let you know if my conscience gives up on me.
listen, we'll tell our fans when our conscience stops working, okay? We don't need y'all to be our conscience.
Thank you.
No, but it kind of really must be scary though as a celebrity to have these like wild fans that are kind of being psycho. I also think it kind of aligns with like how people are with politics, and they literally like worship a celebrity because they think that celebrity aligns with whatever it is they believe in, and then if they don't keep aligning with what they believe in, like they're like, these two things can't exist in the same world, and I was duped into liking their music or whatever. I don't know. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, like, people are complex.
Yeah. I'm sorry. They don't fit into the little bubble you drew around them.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. So this isn't quite exactly the same, but yeah, I guess it kind of falls under crazy fans. You said this and it made me think of that. Did you notice how much she let fans like grab on her and stuff? Like, maybe I'm kind of getting old, but that gave me so much anxiety more.
I literally wrote, one of my notes while I watched this is she safe?
I know. It was like, do you really want all these people grabbing on you? If I was her security guard, I would be having a heart attack.
Well, that was the thing, because compared to Demi, again, the latest like documentary we watched before this, she has like way less security, or at least it appeared that way. And maybe she wanted it to appear that way in her documentary, but she was like running up to people, hugging them. And I witnessed firsthand when I saw her at ACL in Austin, like, she went into the crowd, she jumped down, like, she is kind of like doing her own thing. She's kind of like probably giving everybody a heart attack.
Okay, yeah, that makes me so nervous. Like, I'm curious to see if with age, I don't know if it's, like, and I don't know if it's just because it's like the older you get, the more you worry about stuff like that, or if it's just because like the longer you're in the industry, the less physical interaction you want with strangers. Like, I don't know, but I'd just be curious to see if she maintains that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say something like foreboding, but like, I feel like it's almost like an incident would occur that would probably make it not the case anymore. I mean, like the Kardashians, they actually never post when they travel. They post always after they travel because of the break-in in Paris that happened to Kim. And so I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know if I would hate if anything were to happen where she gets too close to a crazy fan, but it's like that might be what changes it.
Yeah, I see. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's a really good point. I agree. I hope it's not something like that would keep her from doing it.
But when I saw her, it was kind of wild because she was like in with the fans, touching everybody's hands, like camera was following her. And then she got back on stage and somebody had stolen a diamond ring off her finger because she wears like a ton of rings. And she came back on stage and she's like, "What do y'all took my rings?"
And that was it?
No. And then she was like, I mean, she's super rich, so maybe she just like was being nice and didn't want to ruin her performance or like be pissy. But I mean, she was so nice. She was just like, "I hope it brings you positivity. I love that ring, blah, blah, blah." Like, I mean, it was kind of sad, but she was like really nice about it. I'd be like pissed.
I'd be like, nobody leaves this venue until I hand search all of you and I get my diamond ring back.
I mean, I guess that's the casualties of going into the crowd. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. That's why I guess for me it seems so freaky, is it's just like you even can see it. It's like all these hands are all over your body and they're like pulling on you. And I'm sure like, I don't know if someone was so much trying to steal one of her rings as they were trying to like get a
Grab
piece
her
of
hand.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like be like, oh my gosh, and this is Billie Eilish's, you know, like,
Yeah. Oh my God. Weird.
yeah, which is, it's all so creepy, Morg. But also, when you said her performance, I found her like dancing, like one, like it was super joyful, like her jumping around. But it also surprised me because I feel like the songs that I know by her are kind of like melancholy, like, and I don't mean that to sound negative,
Yeah.
but like they're just a little bit more like
Sad.
slower, I guess.
Yeah.
And like, so it kind of surprised me to see that the way she dances is like she's jumping and she's like all over the place.
Yeah, she's definitely an entertaining performer. I mean, she really like feels her music. I felt like it was really entertaining to watch her. But I do agree, like a lot of her popular songs, like Ocean Eyes, is like so slow.
Yeah. So what does she do for this? Is she still jumping around like slow motion, or does she take a
No,
seat?
she's
Like,
kind
what
of
does she
being
do?
like weary. I don't like. She's still like
Weary.
She's like moving around, but she like, you know, like she'll do actions that are kind of along the lines of the song or along the lines of her music video where she like had that goo coming out of her eyes. You know, she's like doing like theatric stuff.
Yes. Side note, how did you like the Goop music video?
I mean, like there's a part of me that I don't think I understand her, which I think everybody has, because like she's so unique, like we've talked about. Like even her like there's a scene in the documentary where she's like filming her own mom while she's planning this music video, and she's like, okay mom, like raise this glass, like drink this stuff. And essentially what she plans is to drink this black glass of goo, and then once she drinks it, it starts coming from her eyes. Like this is her vision for her music video. I don't think I understood the point. I don't know if there was a connection. I actually don't think there was.
Okay. And that was also going to be a question of mine, was like, do you think that there was like a deeper meaning, or was this just like, cause I mean, again, you know, she's 17. Like, so, I mean, like I'm not judging at all. Like, because I could see myself doing this at 17. It's like, was there a deeper meaning, or was it just like, it'll be so cool?
Well, I don't know. I do think like multiple times there were moments where it was just like kind of fun to watch it, because it was like she just is like a teenager who's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, you know, even like writing the song with her brother, she's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Like a lot of it is like just
won't versus can't. Who knew?
Yeah, there is like this moment between her brother and her where she's like, no, won't sounds cooler. Like the Black Goop music video, I think it was just really, though, her vision of whatever the lyrics were coming alive. I don't really think they were necessarily connected.
Well, and I think that's cool. Which again, I feel like is probably a huge part of art, is like, you know, I always wondered that when I had to like take classes in art studies, is like, how much of this is people just over reading into it, and how much of this was like planned symbolism and metaphors?
Yeah, like I don't know, Joe, because I remember reading books like in high school and I was like, the author didn't mean that.
Yeah.
They didn't mean that. BS. You're just trying to teach us a lesson and you've decided that.
Yes, Morg, I know. And I remember one time I did a project in college and my teacher was like telling me how much he really liked this like symbolism I included. And I remember being like, I did not know what you're talking about. Like kind of the same thing. I was like, I just thought it sounded cool, or like, I just thought it looked cool.
I just liked how this looked, man. Like I stopped reading into it. I definitely feel like that happens a lot where people are like, oh, I get it. I get it. And
right?
like, no, you don't. That's just like is what it is.
Yes, like you don't get it at all.
But Joe, I do have a fun fact for you, because I don't know if you knew this before watching the documentary, but do you know Billie Eilish's full name?
No, I do not. And I will say I didn't know it after. I don't think they mentioned it in the documentary, do they?
No, I guess they don't necessarily mention it, but I did look it up when I was just kind of researching her for this episode. And her full name is Billie Eilish Pirate Baird O'Connell.
Oh my gosh. And it's Baird, not Beard?
Baird, not Beard. Did I say Beard?
No, but I mean, Pirate Baird, it sounds like you should say Pirate Beard.
But isn't that crazy?
Yes, and I feel like we could definitely find her a position on our soap opera.
Oh my God, where you can only say her full name. Like,
Billy Irish Pirate Baird, what have you done to my sister-in-law?
you forgot the O'Connell.
O'Connell. It's a mouthful. That'd take a lot of practice sessions.
Where like someone stares at the camera and then they're like, not without Billy Irish Pirate Baird O'Connell.
Chun, chun, chun. That is quite the name, which also I feel like based on that name alone, I think I could have guessed she was homeschooled.
Okay, right? Like, I don't know. As soon as I read that name, there was almost, after watching the documentary, a moment of like, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
But also, like I'm super curious about this too, like, because I feel like this isn't like a Wikipedia scam work where it's like she went in and changed her Wikipedia name to be Pirate Baird O'Connell, Pirate Eilish Billy.
I have read that this is her full name. I mean, I haven't like gotten a hold of her driver's license in the state she was born, but that is what it says.
Dang, and now I really want to know what do you think the brother's full name is then?
Oh my God, Phineas?
Yes, if hers is Billy Eilish Pirate Baird O'Connell, so his is going to start with Phineas and end in O'Connell. What do you think?
I don't know, actually. I should have looked that up, but I don't know. Do you think he has less names?
No, I mean, I hope it's just as dramatic. Like, for some reason, I feel like alliteration feels right. Like, it'd be Phineas, Fabulous, Faunia, Flora, O'Connell.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, sadly, Joe, I just looked it up, and do you want to know what it actually is?
Don't tell me it's just Phineas O'Connell. He changed it legally.
It's Phineas Baird O'Connell. So he has the same middle name as his sister, but his sister has like 4 middle names.
I'm sorry, one of these kids changed their names. Either she changed it to make sure her middle name was Pirate, or he changed it to take out Flora Ifana.
Flora or Fabulous or whatever.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, those parents are really, you know, like, I mean, you're not, from the very beginning, you're not being fair to your kids if you give one of them like a really long, intense name and the other one just 3 names, and one of them sounds like it's just the mom's last name.
Well, okay, so I am in agreement with you that it's weird that he got like a normal name. Like, do we just think like her parents were going through like a high period where they're like, another name, another
Give
name,
another.
I don't know.
She needs more names.
Yeah, I don't know if then like, because she's younger sister, so maybe they were just like, this is like, we're gonna name her all the names that we didn't name Phineas.
No, fine, Morg. I don't know about that though.
So apparently, from what I read, she was just supposed to be Billie Eilish Pirate O'Connor, but her uncle didn't like the negative association with seafaring murderers. Is that how you say seafaring murderers?
Mariners? I don't know.
Seafaring murderers. I think that is what I'm reading.
It sounds like you're saying murderers, though.
That's what I think I am like saying it as a pirate.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
A seafaring murderer like yourself. So apparently, like, Pirate was going to be her middle name, but then her uncle had a problem with it. Why is her uncle involved with the naming? I don't know.
Yeah.
But she said her uncle had a problem with it because pirates are bad, and then Baird is her mother's name, so it just got added in there.
What about the Eilish?
I don't really know about the Eilish. It just was already going to be in there.
Okay, still confusing, but fine.
So she really got some additions. It seems like almost by like family, almost like a family feud.
Okay, Morg, if you could add on a middle name or 2, what would you add on?
I would be Morgan. And I feel like it needs to be like, just like, you know, something cool like Pirate Baird.
Yeah, right?
Morgan Buckwild.
I love it.
I feel like I'd add that in the middle of my full name. What about you?
Okay, so I once met a girl whose last name was Dragon, and I can't stop thinking about that. So I think
I
I'd want to
love
be like
it.
Jojo Dragon or like Jojo Dragonflame or Fire or something.
Ooh, I like that. So Jojo
I know.
Dragon.
Doesn't it sound like I'm here to kick your butt?
I mean, yeah, it sounds like I'm going to be in a tournament with you in Mortal Kombat.
What's that fighting called again?
Oh my God, Mortal Kombat? I don't know. It's like a video game.
No, what's that? You're right. That does sound like a good video game name, though.
Oh, like MMA or something?
No, what's the one that you're telling me about where anything goes?
Krav Maga. I don't think they like give you names in Krav Maga. It's not like boxing.
Yeah, but Morg, if that's just my normal name, Jojo Dragon,
Okay.
and then I come at you in Krav Maga, do you think you're going to beat me?
No.
You're not.
You're
You're
not.
definitely not.
Well, maybe
You've already
Morgan Buck
lost.
Wildwell. Morgan Buck Wild's coming at you.
That does sound like a fair fight.
Jojo Dragon and Morgan Buck Wild. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I have a question for you, though, about the documentary, because I thought it was really interesting that she really hated songwriting, and there was even like a clip like of her brother trying to protect her from the fact that the producers, I guess, of their album had said like, y'all have to write a hit, and he didn't even want to tell her that it had to be a hit, because she, of course, like also wants things to be so real that they can't be like mainstream almost.
Uh-huh.
So it just surprised me that she kind of hates writing music, and I wanted to ask you, what is something that people think you'd be good at but you're not, or that you hate?
That people think that I would be good at, that I'm secretly not.
Yeah, so it's almost like with her, I found it surprising that she hates writing music, or she said that in the documentary. What is something that people might find surprising about you that you don't like doing, that you do all the time or are good at or whatnot?
Ugh, go to work.
Just in general. Of course, we all hate our jobs.
I'm just joking, but when you said something you do all the time, I'm like, what do I do all the time? Go to work.
Go to work.
Maybe something that I'm good at, or something that I secretly don't enjoy doing. Ooh, Morg, that is hard. Okay, so I will say this, and I don't know, like, I guess this goes back to people being complex, but I really find, and I don't think this is that abnormal, but I don't love like big parties or like big events, but I also do enjoy like attention, and like I like being the life of the party, but I also hate it, if that makes sense. Like it's really like draining. But if I'm like at the party, then I feel like I gotta like dance as much as I can. Like I gotta like, yeah, but I don't know. So I feel like that.
Give them a show, boys.
Right? Like, but I feel like it, and nobody asked me to, so that they probably secretly hate me. And I'm just like, oh, I've got to bring some energy to this party. Like, how? I don't even have energy myself. And everyone's like, we didn't ask you to do any of the things you're doing. Like, quit doing the worm on the floor. Nobody wanted you to do that.
Woo!
So I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, I really have to like psych myself up to go to like parties and stuff like that. Like, I don't really love stuff like that, but I don't know. I like can't turn it off.
Then it like overtakes you. Yeah. I resonate with that a lot. Like, yeah, I feel like that's a really good one too, where it's like you would think, because she's doing the worm, that she loves it.
For the record, I cannot do the worm. It just felt like a good visual.
For the record, I have never seen her do the worm.
I don't need someone coming at me in 10 years when I say I can't do the worm and being like, 10 years ago, you said you did the worm.
You said, a crazy fan of ours.
What about you, Morg? What would be your thing that, you hate secretly, but you're good at, or you do often?
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like, I think because for those of you who don't know, that this isn't my regular job, and in my real job,
shocking, right?
I know, we're making millions. For my real job, I'm a project manager, and I really, really hate organizing crap. And in my personal life, it is like almost right now, like I'm planning a wedding and it really, really, really makes me like resent it because I feel like I have to work outside of work.
Ooh,
So
yeah, I
I
could
feel
see
like,
that.
like my coworker the other day was like, oh my gosh, well, like lucky you, you're already like a project manager. Like, this should be easy. And I was like, I hate this. It's not easy and I don't like it. So surprise, Randall. It's not fun.
That makes me wonder more too about people who it's like when you think about their jobs, like you think of their job as being like a dream job or something like that. But I feel like, like I'm thinking about like a sports athlete or something like that. Do you think that like kind of ruins the game for them where it's like they go to watch a basketball game and they just can't like not think about, I don't know, like what the people are doing wrong, or like an actor watching another person act and like thinking about like their performance and stuff. Like, I just feel like, does that take the fun out of everything, or when you're doing it in a leisure way versus like a work way?
I definitely think so. I think there's certain people though that can just like love their job. I think I'm not one of those people.
Who are those people? Like, they're a myth. Those are real unicorns to me.
Yeah, they're like, because the people who tell you they love their job, they don't love their job. They're crazy.
Lying to themselves.
They're like selling snake oil, like those people. I'm always like, no, what are you doing? Like, they're like, I love my job. It's a dream job. Like, people who have to tell you that, I'm like always like, no, you're crazy. But another item in this documentary about Billie is she freaking loves Justin Bieber, Joe.
Oh my gosh, Mark. I really want to talk about this. Like, I feel like I love Justin Bieber, but yes, which I kind of thought about this at the beginning when we were talking about like super fans and stuff like that. Like, she was and I apparently in this documentary is a Justin Bieber super fan.
Yeah, I was kind of like weirded out by how much of a fan, but like we said, I think me and you are both like very much so like not idolizers of celebrities. I just never really have been, and I feel like you haven't been either. So it's kind of like odd to me to see someone like who is a celebrity idolize another celebrity.
Yeah, like it was it was very sweet. And I will say it made me love Justin Bieber so much more, like watching him just like hold her and she just like cried into him, which, side note, Morg, I don't know if you picked up on this, but I did. He was wearing a surgical mask and I think this was filmed pre-COVID. Like, Justin Bieber was wearing that as like a fashion accessory or something, or to hide his identity.
Oh, I bet it was for identity, but that's very odd to me.
Yeah, it was super weird because like at first when I noticed it, like I guess I didn't really notice it because it felt so normal because that's the world we live in. And then I noticed not a single person around him was wearing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so trippy.
Yeah, because it was definitely pre-COVID, I feel like, when she met him. And
yeah,
when they were like recording their remix together that they did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know, but it was super cute. Like, and I loved how much he like kind of almost looked out for her, or like reached out to her because he like had been there. Like, I know I kind of jumped, like you said the thing, but that made me think of like cellular communication, which they had.
Yeah. I feel like, I thought it was really endearing because he was a childhood musician, of course, that just kind of probably was like, I bet she's going through all the growing pains I did, and I don't want her to have to do it alone. Also, side note, J Beebs has like become extremely religious.
Yeah, Mark, I had no idea, but I mean, I feel like I've seen that recently.
Which is interesting to me because I feel like his wife has not become extremely religious with him. I don't know. This is just a side note about Justin Bieber. I just found that interesting.
Really? Okay, so see, that's the thing, is I don't feel like I know enough about his wife. There's something about the two of them though, like, and maybe this is again my love of J Beebs. It's like he seems really happy with her, so like, if it works for them, it works. But you're right, I don't know anything about her, but I feel like that might be hard on someone's relationship if one of them gets really religious and the other doesn't.
Yeah, like I feel like at one point he was studying to be a pastor, and that's when you kind of enter like a little bit of like a Kanye realm.
Oh yeah, that's surprising.
It's a little weird, man. But no, I like Justin Bieber and I thought it was really sweet. But one thing I noted about this was that she was like, something that I wrote down was that she said she would murder her dog for Justin Bieber. And then like the cameraman zoomed in on her dog and I was like, I feel like this is a little heavy.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember the zoom in, but I do remember her being like, I would like murder my dog for Justin Bieber and like kind of laughing. And I was like, that is so dark and like also terrifying because I think there are definitely people out there and apparently Billie Eilish is one.
Yeah. So maybe that's why she hugs all of her fans, because she is a crazy fan and would like a hug.
Right? And how about that clip of her when she's like crying at 12 years old because she's like, which I guess is also like shows what kind of person she is, because I feel like you can kind of see this in her music where she's just very, I don't want to say dramatic because that sounds really negative, but like, yeah, it's like she's crying because she's like, if I don't marry Justin Bieber, I'll die.
Yeah. But it is like strong emotion about everything.
Yes.
Okay, well, for my last question, Joe, in regards to this documentary, we, of course, talked about how Finneas is a huge partner to Billie throughout her career, has been a huge partner to Billie throughout her career, and has helped her make a ton of her music, and is her sibling, which is pretty cool because, I don't know, I feel like it's awesome that you get to kind of make a bunch of money with your brother or sister. But to the point earlier, maybe they're miserable. Maybe they hate their jobs, Joe.
Yeah. Who knows? I just feel like cool that they could work together. I feel like I could see that going so south so fast with my siblings where it was like, oh my gosh, well, that's stupid.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Like it could just immediately dissolve the relationship.
As soon as it started, it's over.
Well, I guess maybe then that makes this question a little harder because I was going to say, you know, it really doesn't have to be something that makes money, but like, what would you and your sibling try to make into a multi-million-dollar business if you could? Like, if there was something that you think y'all could be successful at, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. That's hard because now I have to choose a sibling.
Oh, that's true.
They would be very different businesses depending on what my sibling.
Let's do it with your older sibling because we'll pretend like Billie is the younger sibling, and then you'll do it with your older sibling in this scenario.
Okay, because if I'm the younger sibling in it, then I feel like our business would be so much more practical than if I were to do it with my younger sibling, whereas I feel like it would be a lot more like, yeah, it's all conceptual, and we're just selling good vibes.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's such a good like difference between a younger and older sibling relationship and dynamic anyways. We're just selling good vibes, man.
Right? Like I could see me and my brother like just selling empty jars that are like good vibes, like get you some good vibes. Like
snake
and
oil.
That's it. It's snake oil.
I got the dream job, man. I got a dream job.
Selling good vibes. It's got the synergy, man. But no, if it was me and my older sister, it would definitely be something that would be like low cost but high profit.
Return on investment.
Yes, Morg. So maybe we would sell something like, I don't even know. This is like, I don't even know anything. Maybe we would sell pantyhose or something.
Ooh, pantyhose. That's an industry.
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know if we would sell pantyhose.
Well, run it by your sister and we'll check in next week about.
And she's going to be like, Joe, I would never.
That's a saturated market.
Yes, but I think my brother would be down to sell good vibes.
I think he'd be so down. I agree.
What would you be selling, Morg?
Okay, with my older sibling, I feel like with my older sibling, I would definitely be able to do something that is a lot more playing to her strengths, because I feel like she's very like mathematical and practical. And with my younger sibling, to your point earlier, I feel like it would be, yeah, definitely a lot more like chaotic and like almost like, you know, like burying all of our money in the idea and then being like out, you know, a bunch of money, like, oh yeah, like we just need to buy inventory. But my older sister, I feel like we would like be like super scrappy and like have to like make nothing out of something though. So I feel like we would maybe sell like consultations. But I don't even know what they'd be about, like parental consultations. She's a parent. I could be like, I don't know
assistant.
I would be an assistant
to the consultor.
Exactly. Like, we're starting a consulting business because we got to make something out of nothing. Like, she would not buy into anything until there's like a sure thing involved. So it's like low startup costs.
Okay, I could totally see that too.
So, unfortunately, we're not good enough at anything that I am aware of to really break into a multi-million-dollar business like Phineas and Billy did. My middle name, Baird. Apparently that has something to do with it.
Right? They're just pipe dreams, but for now, Morg, maybe one day.
For now, we'll put a cap on that.
Yes. So, Morg, wow, I feel like we touched about, although I feel like we never really hit on the actual content. We talked about what we thought was the most important. So
As we do.
And for the last time, we are two B's from Lil D. We will see you next week as our newly rebranded podcast, Double Loser. So for now, go follow us at 2B's for Lil D. Don't worry, we'll make the switch though.